This is a lunge variant. Just went 4-1 with spoilers if you're on YouTube. Just went 4-1 with the Stoneforge version. Let's see how we do with the lunge variant. It's been a while since I've played a lunge variant. Actually, I think it's been several months at this point since I've actually run a league through with it. So this hand's looking to find a Druid with Once Upon a Time. And if we do that, then we go turn 2 Druid, turn 3 Finale Ballista. So what are the odds that we hit a Druid with Once Upon a Time? Right? Oh, I want a calculator, not my Google Doc. So we get a draw step. Right, so I'm basically going to look 6 cards deep. And we can actually fetch first to improve the odds. So we're looking at this 52 cards. We're looking 6 deep into 52 as a 4 of. We have a 46% chance about, if I did my math right. I think that's worth keeping. It's wild, but I think it's worth keeping. We can even wait an extra turn. Okay, we're up against Amulet Titan. Okay. I think I'm just going to wait. There's a lot of Amulet. We played it last round too. Our opponent was not running Walking Ballista on their list, and it cost them the match. Because of Ranger Captain, their only out was a Walking Ballista, and they had the Teleria West in hand. They just didn't have it. I think Amulet Titan being very difficult to play effectively is keeping it. Oh, of course, sometimes your opponent just has, the turn 2 kill. Is that what we're seeing right here? Any combination that results in a Azusa and a Primetime is a turn 2 kill here. So opponent doesn't have an Azusa. They didn't have no other play this turn, which means they have another bounce land and a Titan, and they're just going to Titan us next turn. Okay. So we're dead next turn. That was a whiff. Yep, so they have the second bounce land, and they have the Titan. This is, if they drop a Titan, we're dead. Man, 2 leagues in a row, playing against Amulet Titan and dropping game 1 is not great. I'm dead. Oh, let me change the record. That was for the last league. This league, we're about to be down a game to Amulet Titan, which is a favorable matchup. Grilled cheese, you want me to tell them? Maybe they'll concede. Yeah. Hey, just so you know, I have 2 of the Amulet Titan t-shirts. Just so you know. Oh, sorry, I did not update the deck list thing. This is my deck list here. Sorry, Razzie. So I'm an all-in Druid right now. 4 Once Upon a Time, 4 Call. I don't know. Is their opponent hiding the fact that they have the kill? Are they missing it? I don't see what they're doing. Kill me. And they have to get Vesuva Sun home here. So I'm running a Druid Blade with a 75% win rate. Here is my Druid Sword. It's not a very, very small sample size. Let's not blow this out, but 75% win rate, and I punted the heck out of this match against my buddy Spider Space. I had lethal on board and I didn't swing because it was a really complicated board state and we were busy chatting and I just punted that away. I think the deck is all right. I don't. Stoneforge Mystic is frequently sided out. Like as I was talking about a little bit earlier in the stream with the Kitchen Finks variant. Like what do you want Kitchen Finks for? Nothing really right now. Stoneforge Mystic is good against fair decks. There's not a lot of fair decks happening right now. Stoneforge is pretty bad here. I just want to concede opponent. Just show me you understand how this works, and I concede. Okay, so I'm interested in some number of paths, maybe the Vines of Vastwood. My opponent doesn't know what I'm on. They can kind of guess, I think, but... what am I interested in cutting here? Maybe something like that. Just run 2 paths just to kind of keep me from getting... to help keep me from getting blown out. This hand is pretty bad. This hand is also pretty bad. We're looking for a hand with Druid or a way to get Druid. I don't want to go to 4, so let's keep this. Normally I'd move to progress my mana there, but like next turn I guess I could have dropped dropped Giver and Call, but this gives me the best chance if I top deck a Druid to protect it. Now these hands are all garbage. This deck is very linear. We're playing a very linear deck here. Unfortunately, we already cast a spell, so that's not great. I'm going to E-Call, and I'm going to try to set up a turn 4 kill here. Stepmom? There's no reason not to. There's no reason not to try to Stepmom there. So if you guys like what you see, be sure to follow me, sub me, check me out on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all of those things. I would appreciate the support. Okay, so now I get to dig deep with the Once Upon a Time. Still, like, this is why I like Collected Company. Like, if that Once Upon a Time was a Collected Company, I'd feel a lot more comfortable. Just because I need 2 pieces to win right now, not just 1. Opponent's not doing much at the moment. It's almost noon. This is crazy. At what time am I supposed to stop drinking coffee, people? At what time? By the way, best art for Snow-Covered Forest. Foil 1 is, this is what I use in my paper deck. Yep. Play 2 more lands. 7 to 9 p.m. Yikes. I don't know if I'll be drinking coffee that late. So, no revealed bounce land, no Tolaria West for my opponent, 2 cards left in hand, no castle, so might be able to avoid being tightened. Okay, I don't know if I want to take the... I think I take the Shalai here. So ways to get Vizier, right? What's harder for me to get, I guess, is a win condition or Vizier. Let's lay this out. So Finale counts as both, so I'm not going to count that. Ballista is a win con. Oops. Evolution counts as either. Ranger Captain's a win con. Duskwatch is a win con. These count as both. So if you just look at this right here, I'm heavier on the back end. So if I grab the Vizier, I do expose myself to an Engineered Explosives blowout, but I have more top ends to top deck. So grabbing the Shalai there would have been better if my plan was to try to grind with Titan, because then Giver and Shalai together is very, very strong. But I'm not gonna outgrind a primetime deck. I just need the top deck well. So what our opponent should do, they have to get rid of this gemstone mine. That's a little painful. So if they didn't have to get rid of that gemstone mine, what they should do is not attack and grab Sunhome and Tolaria West and pick up the Pact of Negation and then counter every top deck. But they can't. They don't have enough mana to do everything, and they're paying for the Summoner's Pact, so they're kind of forced. They're kind of forced into attacking here. They are forced into swinging at me and saying, take this. I don't care about your zombie horde opponent. Here come the zombies. Yep, they're putting themselves in a spot so they can kill me next turn, which is fine. That's what they should be doing when they can't do anything to disrupt me here. So I don't know what their hand is, but they're going to get a couple more zombies by bouncing a land here. I wonder why they didn't play the bounce land, pick up the sun home, play the sun home. Then they could have threatened to 16 me here. It doesn't do anything, but they could have threatened it. They still have the bounce land in their hand to get extra mana. They should pick up the Simic Growth Chamber then here so they can Teleria West and do something. I don't know. I basically just need to draw a top end card or I lose. Is their opponent trying to Teleria West to instance? What's going on here? No, you bounce the Simic. I'm going to invite them to the Amulet Titan community. There. They are invited to the Amulet Titan community. So I could block with like a Vizier and then or block with Druid, tap the Giver, pro green, save myself 2 life, or 4 life. Actually, it's not double strike, just 2 life. It's just not doesn't do anything, and if they have a Dismember, it blows me out. That's not enough. So we're dead. All right, we just lost a very good matchup on some bad moles. A 5-0 Dream is dead off of a good matchup here. I think my mulligans were correct. I think we did everything right. Just our opponent was on the play game 1, right, and they had double Amulet, turn 3 kill, and we had the turn 3 kill also, if I remember correctly. And then that game, I mulled to 5. I put something together where if I had the top deck, we won. We did not have the top deck, so we did not win. Of note, grabbing Shalai over Vizier, I think that was the key line in that game. It didn't end up mattering, but knowing that I have more top ends and I have access to Vizier is interesting and good to know for future decision making in that situation. The lack of 2-for-1s means my mulligans hurt me more. Yeah, this hand's a very good keep. We're up against Self-a-Seek. Are they still on Mardu? Because if so, we're about to get wrecked. Yep. Here's some Mardu. All right. Yeah. We're not gonna win a combo match here. We need a lunge. I assume they're gonna take Druid. It took Once Upon a Time. Interesting. This might actually be Turbo All-in Druid's worst matchup. Yeah. Looks like Dead Guy Ale. Or Shadow? Why would you run Hex Parasite? Yeah. I haven't seen any red yet. Yeah, you're dead. Okay, so I have to beat them with my Shalai, which fortunately I have both in my hand and plenty of mana to cast them. Hey, Jackin105, welcome aboard the Doom Train. Glad to have you. Glad to have you on board. Yep. Does a target permanent have to have counters on it? Opponent's got 2 cards left in hand. I can Finale for a Druid, hope to top deck into a Vizier and just win that way. Or I think what I need to do is just play the Shalai. And then hope to top deck a Lunge, and then I win if I top deck Lunge and my Shalai stays in play, right? Because then I Lunge Druid, I Finale for Vizier, and I win with Shalai. Opponent's flooding pretty hard here, but so are we. Choo-choo! If you sub, you get that awesome Doomface emote. And please make a recommendation, any of my subs, what you want for the other emotes. Opponent's digging hard for a Shadow. Okay. Sequence that way, not that it matters because they're tapped out, but of note, I can swing for 4/5 next turn with the Shalai, pump the Shalai, so I might be able to just kill my opponent outright. This is not a good matchup, but our opponent is struggling to find stuff here. That Hex Parasite can remove counters from my permanents, which is a little annoying. So does this tells me they have a Fatal Push in their hand. I block Shalai, I get back Druid, and they Fatal Push. I don't actually think I care about that. What do you guys think here? I think this is a crucial decision point. If they have a Fatal Push, then I can get blown out here. I get a Druid in my hand, which doesn't do much. Right, so let's say I block this. They kill my Shalai. I drop a Druid next turn. And then I still don't have a way to win. I guess I Finale and get 2 Horizon Canopies in 2 turns. I think I don't block. Yeah. The other option is I just block with a Noble Hierarch. But I don't even like that particularly much, especially when I have access to Shalai mana on board. It's not like I can get bolted to death. So Finale can get me 1, 2, 3, 4. X is 4. I cannot put 2 Shalais in play. That'd be stupid. Hey Garrett, how's it going? Why did our opponent cycle right there? I didn't jump with the noble because I wanted access to lethal, right? It did matter though because I didn't let them cycle it. They're dead on board because of this interaction here. So I want paths. I like Vines of Vastwood. Like the big thing I'm curious with here is how usually against Death Shadow decks I'm gonna go heavy on a mid-range plan post board, but here I think like this Vines of Vastwood's pretty effective. Like this is my mid-range plan. They did punt, yes. Well, I put them in a spot where they couldn't cycle Street Wraith without hitting something, right? I do think having that Noble Hierarch in play gave me more flexibility. My 2 life didn't matter. If they then just dropped a Shadow, then I'll be looking at, well, I wish I had a chump blocker for the Shadow, and the Noble can chump block the Shadow, right? So I think it was the right decision not to block. Being it, my life total didn't matter there, especially since they can't bolt me or anything. This is my... That's probably true. I probably should do a little split there. This is my 3rd or 4th match with this deck. I just had my first loss, which is just because of, like I said, last round was just a little rough. I don't think Once Upon a Time has been lackluster. I think it's actually been pretty good. I do think it encourages you to keep bad hands. So, got turn 3 kill here. It's not going to happen because of all of my opponent's interaction. I think Once Upon a Time is very good in All-In Druid. Dork would be great. So I think I want a Once Upon a Time here to try to hit a Giver or a Dork. Right? Our opponent not having hand disruption means I feel like they have removal instead. So what that means, I want the Noble in play. I assume that they're not going to kill the Noble. They want to probably save their push. Or they're just going to go ahead and dismember a Noble. It seems it means they probably have a Druid, Shadow in hand. I don't like that line for my opponent. What I was trying to set up was put myself in a spot where I could drop Druid and hold up Vines of Vastwood. And I think I'm going to do that. I think that's what my line is. Knowing my opponent doesn't have hand disruption, I think I'm just going to put this out there to die. Then next turn, my opponent's going to have less removal spells, and I'll have the Vines and Druid. Tidehollow Skeller would be rough here. Don't care about that as much. Same with Amulet Titan. I think people just play poorly against green decks. So what do I do here? I can protect it with the Vines of Vastwood. Or I can just sacrifice my dude the next turn. Yeah, I think I just gotta protect you. I'm not gonna F6 in case they have another path to exile. I want to kill Druid if that's the case. Why would he waste a Dismember on a Noble Hierarch? It's like I don't know. And Self-Six a really, really good player. Um, I don't know. I feel like the removal has been a little aggressive so far. I don't care about that. Okay. Well, I think we just stole a match. Just need 20 mana. The Dismember on the Noble is less questionable than the Fatal Push on the Duskwatch Recruiter. Okay. That was not a match I feel like we were supposed to win, but I do think keeping in... Oh, sorry about that. I do think keeping in the combo the way I did was important there. If they'd saved that Fatal Push for... It had two removal spells on Druid, I might have been able to win with the Lunge. How much? I had 3 lands in play, right? I'm trying to remember. So I had the Druid 3 lands, but the Lunge costs 2. So yeah, I actually would have still won. I would have won through 2 removal spells because I lose 2 life. X is 2. I still have 1 white source untapped. I tap Druid for 1 mana. I get the Vizier. I still win through that second removal spell. So it didn't end up mattering. Now, if our opponent kept in a 3rd removal spell, like didn't dismember, then they just had no clock. So maybe they're just in a bad spot. No Thoughtseize, no Tide Hollows. Yeah, so what was it? Like a 40-something% chance to hit Druid? I'll keep this. I can even fetch first to raise those odds a little bit. I think that might be correct. Let's see. I'm just going to fetch first. Like, my life total doesn't matter. If I'm playing Burn, it's already going to be in a rough spot. I'll be right back. Hey. All right. You? Sounds good. I'm streaming right now. Yes. When the wife calls, you pick up the phone. I don't need the Duskwatch Recruiter. Alright, let me catch up on... Actually, I think I just need to pick... using a lot of claw. I think I want the land. Yeah, when the wife calls, you answer the phone. Does the all-in Druid just lack the mid-range backup plan? Yes, this deck cannot do super well against aggression. I'm giving my opponent extra information by sequencing my lands like this, but I think it's important. Not having Druid's a little painful. Not having extra mana is a little painful. But I wanted to thin my deck. And maybe I didn't because Druid wasn't on the bottom. Yeah, maybe I should not have fetched because I knew that there was 4 cards in the bottom that were not Druid. Yep, that was a minor punt. So I just want to hit Druid as fast as possible because the game ends when I do. Assume up against some version of Urza. This looks like the Urza with Emry. This is Emry. Oh. I thought they were... Well, that kind of stinks. How do I win this? I still need a Druid, and then I need a lunge. I guess that's the best way to win. They can just tap and draw Astrolabes from their graveyard, or just Mishra's Baubles. Man, Emry is disgustingly powerful. Yeah. Okay. What do I need? What do I need here? I think I'm just too late. Without having a way to give Druid haste, I think I'm just dead. So I can Finale for 2. And now I'm going to put myself in a spot where if I top deck exactly Vizier, I can win the game. Maybe I can just win anyway. I haven't checked the math yet. So my goal is put Druid in play, make my opponent spend their turn killing Druid and Vizier. Then I postmortem lunge my Druid. Why would you do it now? Why would my opponent do that now? Oh, because they can just recast the Engineered Explosive on their turn thanks to Emry. That's disgusting. I think I have to sacrifice Ranger Captain on their upkeep. Yep. Right, so this is, they can cast. You may cast that card this turn. So I sacrifice my Ranger Captain. I finale and kill them. That's fair. Maybe Collector Oof, but this is game one, right? I'm pretty sure I just win here. But Collector Oof main board seems stupid, right? So Ranger Captain was really good here, not letting my opponent recast to EE, which lets me win the game. One, two, three. Opponent doesn't even want to see the win condition. Okay. Knight of Autumn's good here. I think Eidolon is pretty good here. Stony Silence, Kataki, maybe Remorseful Cleric. I think I'd rather have Scooz. I don't know. I don't even know if I care about interacting with my opponent. I think I'm just trying to be a little bit more all in here. I really don't like Eldritch Evolution. I don't know why. I like that more. I don't even think, actually, more I think about it, Kataki's probably just a terrible, terrible card here. This hand's good. I get to Once Upon a Time to try to find a Vizier, a Giver, or a Dork. Then I get to, if it's a Dork, I get to go try to open that up. Yeah, either way, I think I'm pretty fine here. Pretty solid. Stony Silence seems pretty important in this matchup. Once again, I'm going to fetch before. I don't think my life total matters. Yeah, just grab Kataki. Okay, so I get to go... Opponent's digging for lands, otherwise they should have fetched first, right? Yeah. Actually going to lead off with the Stony instead of the Kataki. I know it gives my opponent more information, but they definitely brought in creature removal. I don't know if they brought in an answer for Stony Silence. Next turn I go Devoted Druid or Kataki. One or the other. I think I'm just going to try to lead up with Kataki's probably fine. Pithing Needle in my opponent's graveyard means that they get to answer my Devoted Druid. I want to tax my opponent's mana as much as possible here. I know this is going to let them cycle a lot with Emry, but I think taxing their mana is the right call here, because they need to grab that Pithing Needle. They have the Pithing Needle answer anyway to my Devoted Druid, so if I can just tax them, I might be able to last a little bit longer. Okay, so they have the answer for it anyway. I'd rather them kill Kataki than Druid. Next turn I get to go Shalai, and then the following turn, Druid Once Upon a Time, and try to win from that. Or do I go Druid, and the next turn, Once Upon a Time, or the next turn, like Finale into Vizier, or Once Upon a Time into Vizier, then Finale into Night of Autumn, and try to win from there. I think that's the better line. I don't think I'm going to be winning with the Shalai. Yep, so I have 2 Night of Autumns, which are my outs here. Yeah, so I can hold that up right now. Yeah, Thoughtseize away. My hand is pretty redundant. I think you have to take the Shalai here, right? Actually, I don't even know which one you take. Once Upon a Time being an instant is so insane. So I grab... Which do I want here? Hey, Baldorf, how's it going? I did not put the deck list up there. Had a rushed morning, but this is the deck right here, Baldorf. So the important thing to note is how many tutor spells I have. But let's figure out the math and what we're doing right now. So if I grab the Vizier here, then I get to untap. I at the finale for 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Night of Autumn, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then I play my land, untap, cast the Vizier, and I still can't win. But if I get the Night of Autumn now, blow up the Pithing Needle, my opponent can just rebuy it whenever they want. So I think I gotta grab the Vizier here. If I can't win this turn, I think I might just Finale back the Kataki and basically blow up my opponent's board. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So I can Finale for Night of Autumn, get infinite mana, and then do nothing with it. So I think I'd rather... Just get the Kataki. Lots of little things I can do here. I noticed my opponent, they don't have Fatal Push up. They know about the Vizier, so they're definitely going to keep the Pithing Needle. Or that's the one they're going to rebuy. Doing this does allow my opponent to rebuy like the Astrolabe with Emry, which does let them draw, but this taxes their mana so they can't Urza me this turn, which is all I really care about. Needle is on Devoted Druid, which is why my opponent is not dead. Rebuying an Astrolabe just to cycle. It's fine. I'm okay with you spending 2 mana a turn and tapping your Emry just to cycle. Okay. Knight of Autumn wins me the game. Yeah, it seems fair. I think that will lock out my opponent. Then I'm going to swing for 2, put them at 9. I might actually win a game with this deck list without... Sorry, put them at 8, without comboing. Yep. Yeah, Needle stopping the untap means I do not have infinite mana right now. Not that infinite mana particularly helps me with the board state, but... The opponent has to pay 1 for that Pithing Needle, right? And now because of the Eidolon, they can't keep cycling those Astrolabes, because if they do, it's the only thing they can do that turn. So I'm kind of doing like that old Splinter Twin thing, where I'm forcing my opponent to spend mana every turn. Okay. They have the answer for the Eidolon. There's so many different versions of Druid. I mean, I've played Abzan Finks, Druid Karn, which with the Fairy and Karn. So I'm putting the threat in play because this way, even if they draw Urza, they have to block with Emry to not die. The opponent's got a ton of interaction, but they haven't really been able to do too much else. I just streamed the Stoneforge Mystic one last round, so check out my YouTube. That 4-1 league will be up shortly. Ooh, spoilers. Alright. Cool. So our only loss so far was to... We beat a bad matchup and we lost to a good matchup. Delver Guy, welcome aboard the Doom Train. Glad to have you. Thank you for the follow. I actually have a lot of Druid content on my YouTube. There's Druid Karn, Bant, Stoneforge Mystic, Finks, Lunge. I even have a Devoted Druid Primetime Amulet variant on there, I believe, too. Up against Yek Cat for round number 4. Sounds pretty good. So Once in a Time's probably buying me... Ooh. Is this the mirror? Or is this... This is probably Amulet Titan here. Amulet Titan is very abundant, and this hand is very good against Amulet Titan. I don't even need this Once Upon a Time. I go turn 1 Dork, turn 2 Druid, turn 3 Win. The Karn version is, yep, Field of Dead. So this is probably Amulet Titan. Okay. The Karn version is very good, specifically if you are looking to beat control. I'll just take a land. Yep. Looks like our opponent's setting up for a turn 4 kill. Or a turn 4 Titan here. Okay. So if they have a bounce land, they have a Titan, but they're just dead. They have to kill my Druid. Even if they have like a Pact, it's not enough. Okay, now they can kill me. Why don't I have these hands when I play Amulet Titan? Why don't I have the double amulets? This is gross. I might have to, yeah, I'm probably just dead here. I was just saying we're not dead because I only had 1 amulet. They dropped the second. 9 mana in the mana pool. Yep. Yep, we're gonna attack with 2 Titans. They have enough to pay for the Pact. They're either killing me or just dropping an EE. If they go for the EE route, I can still win with a lunge off the top. Veil of Summer's fun. Yep. Didn't matter. Our turn 3 kill didn't matter. I think I like that. Single Light of Autumn's probably fine, just to blow up an EE or something. I'm really just looking for a fast hand, and I don't think I don't like Evolution that much. It's not a card that I enjoy. It's pretty nice in conjunction with Postmortem Lunge, I will say that. It also makes Dryad Arbor a heck of a lot better, but yeah, game 1 is our best chance. We just lost the die roll, is what happened there. Double Amulet is going to beat us. I just need a Druid. So this is a mull. Another mull. I need 2 lands and a Druid and something else, and that's a good hand. We might be falling to Amulet Titan here twice in the same league, despite the fact that this is a very good matchup for us. Both game ones, our opponents stole it with fast double Amulet draws, and actually they had triple Amulet in the first round, but... And then here, what do? Yeah, Magus of the Moon's nice. Not the biggest personal fan of it. Alright, this hand's good. I'll be right back. No, he's in. Sure. Yeah. So the puppy will just walk into the kitchen, look at the fridge, the top of the fridge, because that's where the bones are kept. Well, not a payoff, but a protection spell. Notably, does not protect us against engineered explosives, but does protect us against the dismembers our opponent is definitely running. Trinket Mage is either really good or really bad. One thing I do not like about Once Upon a Time is I feel like it encourages... Okay, there's a ballista. Worse hands to be kept. Okay, now we just need to draw one of our bajillion win conditions. So we have payoffs. I sided out the Evos. I sided out one call. So we have 17 payoffs. 17 out of 51. Those are okay odds. Okay odds. Sure. Payoff. Not a payoff. I'm not beating engineered explosives anyway, so I'll just pass. Okay. Drop your gemstone mine. Yep. And you're telling me to draw well here. Come on, something off the top. There we go.
I like turtles.
Thank you very much for the resub. 8 months in a row. Green decks for the win. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. Okay, I don't think I change anything here. I still like the single Knight of Autumn. I think just a single Knight of Autumn is fine. Just to, like I said, to hit EE. I don't think it's wonderful, but I think it's fine. This hand's good because of Once Upon a Time. I get to go Once Upon a Time, dig for Druid, play turn 1 Giver, turn 2 cast Giver, cast Druid, and turn 3 win. We have a decent chance to hit Druid with Once Upon a Time, too. We're effectively going 6 cards deep with our draw step. 7 cards if you counter second draw step also. Whiff. So if I use this finale to get a Druid, I think it's probably too slow. Playing the Giver over the Noble because of how I want to win this game. I want to win this game by getting a Druid. Top decking a Druid, I got a 1 in 40. I got a 4 out of 45 chance, like a 10% chance that a Druid's on the top, and that's my best case scenario. So I want to put myself in the best position to succeed. If a Druid's on the top, I get to play it with Giver protection to protect me from Dismember. So I can EE on 2 here. Okay. I think I just got to plow through this. All right, what are my options here? I can wait a turn, and then I can finale for Knight of Autumn, blow up the EE, and then I can... I think it's the same speed clock either way. I am giving my opponent something to do with their mana, which is something I don't like. But... Yep. Pact for Azusa. That's not Azusa. Huh. If her opponent whiffed that, they were dead. Interesting. Okay, if their opponent does not have an amulet, I think we just win anyway. They need a dismember. They need 2 dismembers to win. Yep. So for them to win, a Disdainful Stroke could do it. Negate can stop my finale. Yeah, I'm just going to attack for a bajillion. I'm also going to get the Ballista. Alright, let's update that record. So yeah, I grabbed the Ballista. Ballista stays alive because it has +X till end of turn. If my opponent had some weird thing, I can always just untap, put counters on the Ballista, and kill them the slow way. 4 mana pop. So that way there's nothing my opponent can do. I could also grab Duskwatch Recruiter, who's in the deck as a 1-of, just to make certain lines a little bit easier. If my opponent did have a Disdainful Stroke there, I think I was okay. I had 2 free redraws thanks to the Rising Canopies. So then I could just draw 2 cards off the top, and if one of those 2 cards was any tutor, a Ballista, any tutor or win condition, I just straight up won the game right there. So I was in a fine spot, even if they had the Negate / Disdainful Stroke. In paper, yeah, grab Duskwatch, go from there. To save click, I mean, they're dead anyway. The only thing they could have had, if they had double Dismember, they would have used it. If they had the counterspell, they would have used it. So it's not even safer necessarily, because you put the Ballista in play, you can still, if they try to remove it or do something, you can still just gain infinite mana and then ping them 1 by 1 by 1. This hand has a lot of lands, but I can go turn 1. If I get a Druid, I can win here. So I think I'm supposed to keep this. No fetch lands. I'm not going to thin my deck first. Well, that kind of stunk. This is a turn 4 kill. Titan Shift. What are we up against here? Ponza. That can be rough. So I'm going to fetch Druid, end step, and kind of go from there. Hey, Sawyer. We're up against a Devotion deck. Okay. We're 3-1 right now, so this guy's got to be doing well. I'll ask. Blood Moon would hurt, right? It wouldn't kill me though because I still have plenty of mana. No, Blood Moon does nothing. They're 1-0. If they don't kill Druid, I just kill them. I think we got it. And we win. They don't even want to see it. They don't even want to see it. Okay. What do we care about here? I don't even know what I want. I don't think I care about anything here. Maybe the Vines of Vastwood, maybe a Knight of Autumn, maybe the Tracker. I don't think I need to bring in anything here. What's bad? All right, so I like my mana. I like my Giver. I like my Tutors. Yeah, I don't think I change a single thing. I think we're heavily favored here. Opponent basically said as much in the chat, and I tend to agree with them. So I go turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Eldritch Evolution, sacrifice the Noble, put Druid in play, turn 3 win. Yes, is fine. So yeah, turn 3 kill here thanks to Eldritch Evolution, which is not a card I'm generally a fan of. It's fine. Oof, Eternal Witness for no value. That's rough. I guess if they have Anger of the Gods, I don't want to get blown out, but I highly doubt they have Anger. Yep, no Anger. Looks like we got there. Unless I mistakenly block. That'd be silly. Easy, easy, easy. I mean, this is a matchup that is pretty simple. And our opponent just concedes. All right, they don't even want to see it either time. But we had redundancy too. I could have fetched, tutored up the ballista either way. Like, there was a lot of redundant effects there. So back-to-back 4-1s with Devoted Druid, both times losing to an Amulet Titan deck, which gives me pause. If Amulet Titan gained a bunch of consistency, which it did with Once Upon a Time, maybe maybe they gained a couple percentage points on us. That is that's a decent possibility. Stoneforge Mystic wasn't great. The problem is she's so fun. Like, if you go back and watch that league, the first hand I saw, it was like a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic, and I said, this is a trap. This hand is bad. And the reason being is that you look at this, Druid decks aren't good Stoneforge decks because they can't protect Stoneforge. They don't top deck as well. They're not as good as like an Abzan Stoneforge Mystic or like a Mardu or a Dead Guy Ale, because they can't like drop a threat and ride it to victory. They don't have that disruption. So Stoneforge Mystic is just kind of like, is a turn 3 Batterskull going to win the game for you? If not, and it's not, then a hand just giver Stoneforge is not enough. Stoneforge as an extra redundant effect that doubles as a grindy option is nice. Stoneforge grabbing Longbow to win with a combo is nice. We did that a couple times. Stoneforge grabbing a sword, we never actually got to equip a sword. We never actually even really, I made a punt, so we never actually played Batterskull. I don't necessarily agree with that Delver guy. I had good success in the Modern Streamers League with my Stoneforge Mystic, like my Mardu, my black-white based Stoneforge Mystic decks. You can just see right there, like, this deck is just using Stoneforge Mystic as like extra copies of Bob. Like, I'm just using them as extra 2-for-1s. And I can protect Stoneforge with Inquisitions. I can protect her with Liliana and Souls. I have plenty of bodies to equip them to. And if Stoneforge just eats a bolt or a push or something, I'm fine with that, because my follow-up Dark Confidant or Liliana the Veil or Lingering Souls just get a little bit better. So I don't think you need blue. And I actually don't really like blue-white control with Stoneforge, because it looks like it's an auto-include, but then when you start breaking down what matchups does Stoneforge actually help you against, and what does it make you worse against, right? So blue-white control or blue-white mid-range, or whatever you want to call it, running Stoneforge Mystic, it makes you better against mid-range, but you're already beating up mid-range. It doesn't make you better against Tron. It doesn't make you better against Amulet Titan. It doesn't make you better against Urza. None of those decks care about Batterskull. So you got better against Burn, maybe, because Batterskull isn't even that great against Burn. Hot take. Because if they kill the Stoneforge Mystic, then you're stuck in, you have a 5-drop in your hand, and 5-drops aren't good against Burn. So also it turns on, like, game 1 with Stoneforge Mystic, now your Jund opponent is like, oh cool, now I have something to do with this Fatal Push. You know, you turn on your opponent's removal. So they put it in sideboard. What matchups, as we saw, what matchups do you actually want Stoneforge Mystic in? And the matchups are not very numerous right now. Love the card, very strong, lots of fun, very fun to play. I hope more people play Stoneforge Mystic decks, because I think they're fun to play against and play with. That said, I don't think she's as strong as she was touted to be. So back-to-back 4-1s with Devoted Druid. I did get a little unlucky in the Amulet Titan losses. Like, both game 1s I lost to double or triple Amulet and on the draw, and both game 2s I mulled to 5 in my losses. So not a really great representation of that matchup, but it does go to show you that Amulet Titan can beat anything. And Amulet Titan's gotten better at being fast with Once Upon a Time and with Castle. I think it's gotten worse as a mid-range deck, but better as a combo deck, if that makes sense. I like Bant Stoneforge. I do. I think Spellqueller, Teferi, I think throwing all those pieces together, I think Stoneforge Mystic gives you your own Dark Confidant. It gives you a build around 2-drop that is not Tarmogoyf, that generates value when you play it and gives you something to do with your mana. Also plays well with like a Restoration Angel, like I said, Spellqueller, different things like that. I like that deck. I think that's probably the best shell for Stoneforge right now. Bant. I don't like it in just straight blue-white control, but if you add green to the mix, I like it a little bit more. And I know I mentioned a lot of blue-white cards like Teferi, Restoration Angel, and Spellqueller, but I think you need the mana acceleration from green to make that a little bit more worth it. Yeah, I'm happy with back-to-back 4-1s. I didn't get a 5-0 in there, but I wish did a little bit better. I still have no idea what I want to play at regionals. I don't think that, like, if so regional decks that are available to me, like I can pretty much, I don't have Urza. It's like the only deck I really don't have access to. I can play Titan Shift. I can play Amulet Titan. I can play any Devoted Druid shell. I can play this deck. I actually hate this one. I can play Breach Titan, Karn Shift. I can play a Death Shadow deck. I can play a Taxes deck. I can play Humans. I could play Abzan mid-range. I could try out Thalia Stompy. Oh, I don't think Chalice on 1 is... I guess Chalice on 0 is pretty good right now. Yeah, it's I mean it's going to be like a 300 to 400 person event, I think. I could play Bant Stoneforge Mystic. I could do that. I could even do like the Ali Warfield green white Stoneforge Mystic Eldrazi deck. I'm intrigued with that. I just don't like Karn in that deck because I feel like it pulls the deck in too many directions. Yeah, I'm interested in Bant Stoneforge Mystic. I put up on my Twitter a little bit ago, like, what deck should I stream? And it was, the choices were like Amulet Titan shells, Druid shells, or Bant Stoneforge. And last time I did that, everyone voted for Amulet. But today, everyone voted for Druid. Not everyone, but majority. I just need to, and I still have some time. I think I got 10 more days to see how the meta shakes out. We just got a lot of new toys. Once Upon a Time's a new toy, the Castle's a new toy, and Urza just got better with Emry and Oko. I think Oko is ridiculously powerful. I just think the ability to Pongify anything with a plus ability is very strong. I played against an opponent. They went turn 1 Dork, turn 2 Oko, Pongified my turn 1 Amulet, and they Pongified my Azusa, and they Pongified my Titan, which did not attack. I knew it was going to happen, so I set up another Titan that was going to be able to attack the next turn. So I was still able to Titan them again, and then generate value off that. I couldn't kill Oko, but I killed something else, because Oko had too much loyalty that I had an Urza and a token to block. It was gross. Yeah, it being a plus is really, really strong. I definitely underestimated the ability to just +2 and make a food token, mostly because I underestimated, when I first read it, I wasn't thinking in the artifact shell. I was thinking, oh, +2, get a food token. I was thinking, how good would this card be in Sultai? Sultai mid-range, not Sultai Urza. And my first thought was, it's okay. I can't really... if you're doing something fair, right? Like, if you're doing something fair, like this, then giving your opponent free Elks free Elks is you what are you going to do? You can't, now you have to protect your own Planeswalker from their horde of Elks. That's why Urza fits in that deck so well, because Urza drops down and generates 2 blockers that can block an Elk all day. And Oko makes artifacts with the food token, which is just absolutely busted when you start breaking that down. I almost feel like the food token should have been an enchantment, but yeah, Oko, Urza, all that's very, very strong. So that is my stream for the day. I might hop in and do a little bit more later. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. I am the Saint Doom on Twitter, just like I am the Saint Doom here on Twitch. My YouTube channel is my name, Michael Goldenberg. But if you search just Saint Doom in YouTube, it should pop me up. It should pop up there. I might also pop up on the Modern Streamers League. So also check us out there. We'll have some exciting news in the next several weeks, where we'll gear up for the second league, modernstreamersleague.com. You can also follow us there on Twitter at League Modern. Check us out. If you like my content, follow. If you really like it, send me a sub. If you're interested in watching me play a specific list, message me. And if I like the list and I get a donation, I will run through that list. I will say no to some deck lists, but I've played pretty much everything. Hey, welcome aboard, Boki. Thank you very much. Thank you for the follow. Glad to have you aboard. What decks do I think Oko is good in? Urza. Oko is good in any deck where you don't care if your opponent has an Elk. Simply put. So, Urza gets, like I said, it seems like a turn 2 Oko off of a dork into a turn 3 Urza. Now you're able to generate value off of the Oko and off of the Urza, and they work well together, making artifacts, which basically gives you free mana, while also pongifying your opponent's threats, which is huge. And you have 2 blockers with the Urza and the Construct token that can block Elk all day. So I think any shell like that deck doesn't care about giving your opponents Elks. This deck here, which is my Sultai Midrange, which is a deck that I've been tuning back and forth for quite a while. There's some content like this on my YouTube. There's also, I played a Sultai list and won for 1 week in the Modern Streamers League. Played against Susurus that week. So I've been playing Sultai mid-range with Goyf for a while. I don't think Oko fits here. And I've been looking for a green-blue Planeswalker for a while. It's better than Nissa Steward. I can't give my opponents free Elk here. Maybe like a 4-color Saheeli with an Oath of Nissa, because you can Oath of Nissa, grab Oko, and just start generating value. I just really think it just fits perfectly. Everything in it fits perfectly into the Urza shell. It generates artifacts at a +2. It pongifies your opponent's creature, and Urza protects Oko. So like it already makes your best card better in 2 different ways. Both pluses make your best card better, and its minus lets you trade, like it lets you steal your opponent's disruption. Like let's say they have an Eidolon, like I had, or they have a Tarmogoyf that's bigger than your construct somehow, or they have a Kataki. You can switch it with a food token and now tax them for having that food token with the Kataki. Like it just, every one of its abilities synergizes so well, and its high starting loyalty with Urza. I think once the numbers are figured out between how many Urza, Emry, and Okos should be in the deck, I think Sultai Urza is going to be brutally powerful. I don't think you need Goblin Engineer. I don't even know if the deck wants to be a Thopter deck or if the deck wants to be a Paradoxical Outcome deck. I don't even know which version of that deck is better, but I think black so you can run Assassin's Trophy, green so you can run Oko and a Dork. You can just power through and get more consistent turn 3, turn 4 wins. Power 3 max, yeah. CMC 3 max, I believe. You can still steal their Eidolon. It's CMC 3, isn't it? power 3. Okay, so you cannot steal Goyf, but that's ridiculous. Yep, you cannot. I stand corrected. I thought it was CMC 3 or under. It's not as good as CMC 3 under. It's power 3 or under, which means every once in a while you'll be able to steal someone's small walking ballista. I mean, like, Oko by itself just... We just played 2 Leagues Devoted Druid, right? A turn 2 Oko beats us, because now they can Pongify my Druid and say, good luck. Like, the fact that now they have... It's not just, oh, you need to dig hard for removal. It's... You have removal, you have Pithing Needle, you have EE, and you have Oko, this guy who can just make your 2-drop win condition into a 3/3 do nothing. It's just, it's busted. It's the fact that it turns it into a 3/3 do nothing. It reminds me of like the old standard combo where you could run Beast Within and Slagstorm together, and you could Beast Within your opponent's powerful things, turn it into a 3/3, and then you could run Slagstorm, and you ran nothing. You ran no things that died to Slagstorm. So it was like a free little effect where you could board wipe your opponent and generate value there. Yeah, you can Pongify an Ulamog. You can Pongify a Thought-Knot Seer. Like, Oko gives you outs in spots you don't have outs. And it's weird to look at because it's that +1 is so valuable. That +1 is in many cases better than Liliana's -2. In almost every case. Like, it's disgusting how good that is. Now, obviously, Oko is not very good against humans. But because you turn their 2/2 into a 3/3, but you might turn their 2/2 Meddling Mage into a 3/3 that does nothing, and then you cast Engineered Explosives and win the game. Like, it's... Can't I play a Sultai Oko list? Hey, Ghost Reaper. I could. Like, I was giving here an example of an older list I was testing. Sultai Traverse. The problem with Oko in this list is... This list is trying to outgrind my opponent. When I'm turning their things into 3/3s, I'm not outgrinding them. Oko fits best into a shell where you're doing something inherently unfair and you don't care if your opponent has a bunch of 3/3s, which is why it's so good in Urza, plus the artifact theme and everything else. Putting Oko in a deck like this, Oko will win you a couple games, sure. But you're not maximizing the usage of Oko. You're just like taking Oko and being like, yeah, you're powerful, you're good, sweet. But you're not like, oh, every mode on Oko is very good in this deck. This deck doesn't care about food tokens. And if I'm just looking to Pongify my opponent, Maelstrom Pulse might just be better, right? For this particular list. I don't have a way to protect if I keep flooding my opponent with Elk. I can't protect my own self or my own Lilianas. Yeah, I just think Oko is insanely powerful in an Urza shell. There might be other shells too. I was really hoping for... Oko might even be able to fit in like Amulet Titan, to be honest, like an Oath of Nissa Amulet Titan build where you can Pongify your opponent's Urza, to generate some value there. I don't think it's good enough, but it wouldn't be any worse than putting Oko here. Eternal Command. Yep, Eternal Command is a deck that doesn't necessarily care about giving your opponents free 3/3s because you're looking to Cryptic every turn. You can bounce the tokens. You can't bounce the tokens. You can bounce the. You can tap down the creatures. You can counter. Do whatever you want. I think that's a fine shell for Oko, especially since you're looking to maximize value by time walking your opponent every turn, and Planeswalkers give you something to do when your mana's busy with the Eternal Command loop. Yeah, I think it's great. I also think that if you're doing the same thing, that I think a Liliana the Veil, a Liliana the Last Hope, also are good enough to generate value in that same shell. Maybe not Veil specifically because you don't want a plus, but Last Hope will have a game-winning ult for you, where Oko does not have a game-winning ult. So 2 leagues, a league with a Druid Stoneforge Mystic, 4-1, lost to the Nuts on Amulet, which felt weird. And second league, all in Druid, lost again to the Nuts with Amulet, so it is what it is. Amulet Titan is a fantastic deck. It's what I'm leaning towards right now at playing at regionals. So please check out my YouTube, watch me later, and thanks for hanging out. Thank you for a great stream, guys, and I'll be back. Have a good day.